So, hello everyone, good evening. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 29th of September 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover a mapping topic and we are going to look into some editorial discussion topics that are important for the UPSC paper, and also we are going to solve some prelims and mains questions in today's session. So let us quickly look into those topics that we are going to cover. So these are list of articles that we are going to discuss in today's newspaper analysis session. So the page number is also mentioned over here. The first topic that we are going to discuss about is Easter Island, or we can say Easter Island. This island was in news, not very recently, but last year it was in news. So that's why we need to see where is this island located. Okay. So Easter Island is a very small island which is located, let's say, off the coast of Chile. So Chile is a country in South America. So this continent is South America. Okay, it is known as South America, or it is also known as Latin America. Okay. So here we have Chile, and this island, Easter Island, is located off the coast of Chile, and it is very far away from Chile. And this is one of the most isolated islands in the world. Okay, so people who reside over here, so they have, let's say, they have settled over here around 1200 CE. Okay, so it's been long, and these are most isolated people in the world. So this island was in news, and this is, let's say, a kind of enlarged map of Easter Island. So in the Easter Island, let's say, we have Hangaroa, which is, let's say, which can be considered as capital of this particular location. Okay, Easter Island. So these are some of the, let's say, places, name of places that are mentioned, okay, related to Easter Island. So now let us also understand about South America. Okay, South America. So this is map of South America. So Easter Island actually is part of Chile. Okay, it is considered to be part of Chile, and Chile is a country in South America. In South America, we have 12 independent nations, 12 countries, and then there are some regions which are part of some other countries. For example, if we talk about French Guiana, so it's a territory of France. Okay, so that's not a separate country. Apart from this, all others are countries. For example, if we talk about Brazil is a country, then Paraguay, Uruguay, right, and then we have Argentina, we have Chile, right, then we have Peru, we have Bolivia, we have Ecuador, we have Colombia, then we have Venezuela, then we have Guyana, and we have Suriname. Okay, Suriname is also a country. So these are 12 countries in South America. Okay, so these are countries in South America. So this is the political map of South America, if we say. Okay, this is political map. Then along with this, I have also taken the physical map of South America to understand, let's say, what important regions are there in South America. So we talk about Amazon rivers, right? Amazon rivers. So these are, let's say, considered to be the lungs of the world, because the this Amazon forest, it has, let's say, huge number of forests. It's highly densely forested area. So this Amazon forest, it lies over here. Okay, this is Amazon basin. So this has been in news recently because of some kind of fire accidents that has happened. Okay, so forest fire or wildfire has happened over there. Then there are some mountain ranges. These are known as Andes mountain. So these Andes mountain are located to the western side of South America. Okay, Andes mountain. Then to the eastern side, we have this Brazilian highlands. Okay, so that is also important, that is there. Then we have this Pantanal. So this is also a kind of mountain range. And apart from this, in this like in this map itself, some other mountains are mentioned. For example, Guiana Highlands. Okay, Llanos. You might have heard about this. Llanos, Pampas. Okay, so Pampas are a kind of grasslands. Okay, so they are there in South America. So these regions, their names are important. We are not going into the physical geography part of it, but at least we should be knowing where is Pampas located, right? Where is Llanos located, or where is Andes Mountains are located? So Andes Mountains are in the western side of South America, okay? So to the east of South America, we have, let's say, Atlantic Ocean. To the west of South America, we have Pacific Ocean, okay? So this is, let's say, Northern Atlantic Ocean, this is Southern Atlantic Ocean, okay? And there is a sea also, which is known as Scotia Sea, okay, Scotia Sea. So this sea is also important. So this is just to, let's say, go through the mapping areas day by day, so that slowly and gradually you develop a sense of understanding about these mapping regions. So having understood this, let us now talk about the first topic for the day. And the first topic is, what is Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance? Okay. So the title of the topic itself says that it is an intelligence alliance. It's a kind of alliance between different member countries where they share intelligence information. They share, let's say, signals, other kind of, let's say, intelligence input with one another. So why this Five Eyes Alliance has been in news? Because recently the Canadian Prime Minister has targeted India in a way that he has said that Indian authorities are involved in killing of one of the Khalistani leader. I mean, like, one of the leader who is pro-Khalistani. So his name is Nijjar, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. So he has alleged that India is involved, Indian authorities are involved in it. However, India has denied its involvement in the allegation. So that has been the thing. But like, how did Canadian Prime Minister gather information? How did he get to know about it? So like, it is said, I mean, like, it is not officially known. It is said that he might have got this information from the Five Eyes Alliance. Now we need to understand what is Five Eyes Alliance. So it's a kind of alliance where we have five countries. So three of these countries are from, like, North American side. So one of the country is Canada. Then second is United States of America. Third is United Kingdom. So these are from, let's say, like American continent. And then we have Australia and New Zealand. Australia and New Zealand. So these are member countries of Five Eyes Alliance. Okay, these are member countries. How this alliance initially started? This alliance initially started just after the World War II. During World War II, like, two countries used to share information with one another, which is USA and UK. They used to share intelligence information with one another, and these intelligence information helped them in World War II and during Cold War era also. Okay, so they used to gather information related to Russia. So, like, after then what has happened, Canada also joined it. Then these two countries also joined. So this organization has been into establishment for long, since 1940 onward. It has been into establishment, but many people did not know. Most of the people in the world did not know that such an organization exists. Recently it came into news, okay, because of this thing, and also there were other incidents also that led to the, let's say, emergence of names of this particular organization, which is Five Eyes Alliance. Okay, it is Five Eyes Alliance. And this particular alliance, basically, like, it has a kind of database where they share intelligent information with one another. And that database is known as Stone Ghost. Okay, it is known as Stone Ghost. So Stone Ghost is the name of the database, okay, where through which they share the information with one another. So in this article they have talked about, let's say, some other kind of authorities from each country that share information with this organization. So they have mentioned that, like, it is both surveillance based and tracks signal intelligence. Okay, so signal intelligence, SIGINT, they have mentioned, and its official name is Secret AUS CAN New Zealand UK US ICE only. Okay, so they wanted to share information with one another only, and the information can pertain to other countries also, but they will be sharing this information with one another. So that's the thing. Okay, so here in this article they have talked about what is the significance of this alliance? So this alliance actually shares lot of information. Like, you know, during World War time, they used to intercept the radio signals, they used to intercept the satellite and internet communication, and they used to gather information out of it. And because of this information, they were able to, let's say, like, you know, topple many warfare things during World War II. So that's why this alliance is in news. It is, what is important for us to remember? Name of these organizations or countries: US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Their names are important, and also nature of this particular organization. So Canadian Prime Minister has made allegation against India, but those allegations, I mean, like, have been outrightly rejected by Indian authorities. That's the thing. So with this, we are going to solve a question related to this. It says, consider the following countries. They have given names of 5 countries: Australia, India, Canada, UK, and US. So how many of the above countries are part of Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance? Okay, Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance. Australia is there, Canada is there, UK is there, US is there. India is not a member of it. So only 4 of the above countries are members of Five Eyes Alliance. Okay, so that's why it is important. You can go through the explanation to understand more about it, historical roots, how it originated and all. In this article also they have mentioned that, like, you know, initially UK and US were the party to a alliance. Later on they have, like, added other members to this. Then we have another topic. This is important. It says a milestone in Hindu marriage reform in India. Okay, a milestone in Hindu marriage reform in India. So we are going to understand about this topic. So in this article, they have talked about Hindu Marriage Act. They have talked about some other forms of Marriage Act as well. And they have discussed about some of the concepts that are associated with marriage. Okay. So the context of this article is related to a recent High Court judgment. Okay. It is related to Madras High Court judgment. So Madras High Court judgment. So we are going to discuss about it. Okay. So before this, we need to understand some concepts associated with this. What are the concepts that we will understand? One of the concept is known as conjugal rights. Okay. One of the concept is known as conjugal rights. So what are conjugal rights? These are the rights of the married people to stay together. For example, let's say, like, you know, 2 persons married, and this marriage is known as institution of marriage. Means, like, you know, it is a legally done thing. Okay. So in the institution of marriage, right, 2 persons are wedded together through some kind of customary rules or laws, and they can also get themselves registered in let's say, like, you know, legal through legal means. So there are for example, we have a Special Marriage Act 1954, we have Hindu Marriage Act 1955. So they can get themselves registered also after they marry. So the thing is, like, in the institution of marriage, once people get married with one another, so the thing is, like, if one of the, let's say, like, you know, this is she is the wife and let's say he is the husband. Okay. So what happens if in case after marriage, if the wife goes to her in-laws house, and after going to her in-laws house, she does not return to husband's home for a long time, he can approach his wife, you return to us, you let's stay together. But if she does not return, what he can do? He can approach a court of law, or like he can first, let's say he can go to the family members that like why she is not coming, let us redress the problem that is there. If still she does not come, and if their marriage is valid, in that case the husband, right, can approach a court of law also, asking the court to direct her her wife to stay, come and stay with the husband. So this is known as conjugal rights. Means once people are legally married, legally wedded, so they have the right to cohabit, they have the right to stay together. Okay, these rights are known as conjugal rights. Okay, so conjugal rights are rights of the spouse to stay or live with one another. Okay, so the spouse can live with one another. Okay, if the husband does not stay with the wife, okay, let's say like he's he may have settled somewhere else, so the wife can approach a court of law asking the court of law to give direction to the husband so that husband stays with the wife. Okay, so there have been many cases, I mean like of dispute between families, like in the families where husband and wife, let's say after some kind of battle they started staying somewhere else, one of them takes the custody of the child, and then he or she does not share the child with the other person, I mean like does not allow the other spouse to meet the child also. So in that case they can approach a court of law to ask the court of law for restitution of conjugal rights. Okay, this is known as restitution of conjugal rights. Restitution of conjugal rights. Restitution means the court is trying to bring back the conjugal rights, bring back the husband to stay with the wife or wife to stay with the husband. Okay, so court is, let's say like enforcing this particular thing, that is known as restitution of conjugal rights. So in this article basically they have talked about the issue related to restitution of conjugal rights. Okay, but there are, let's say some of the important preconditions for restitution of conjugal rights. What are the preconditions that the courts look, right? So in case of courts see whether the marriage that has happened between the two, is that marriage legally valid marriage or not. Okay, so they look for legality. Okay, they look for legality or validity of marriage. Okay, validity of marriage. So related to this we have, let's say, one of the act which is known as the Hindu Marriage Act. Okay, we have Hindu Marriage Act of, I think, 1955. Okay, so basically Hindu Marriage Act is there, and under Hindu Marriage Act, let's say people who belong to Hindu faith, okay, so they can marry one another. I mean they can marry one another, and so to marry according to the Hindu Marriage Act, it is mentioned that they have to follow some religious ceremonies also. Religious ceremonies in the sense, I mean like they should, वो जो 7 फेरे लगाते हैं, ठीक है, they should do that thing also to fulfill the marriage. And there are other conditions also कि ये सारी चीजें होनी चाहिए, only then it will be considered as a legally valid marriage. Okay, हाँ, it should be conducted by priest also. So priest वाला case भी है यहाँ पे. But like the thing is like in South India, in the state of Tamil Nadu, so what Tamil Nadu has done, Tamil Nadu has amended this particular thing. So they have, they have had the Hindu marriage, okay, Hindu marriage, Tamil Nadu Amendment Act. Okay, they have Hindu marriage, Tamil Nadu Amendment Act. So after this particular act, means like they have amended the Hindu Marriage Act. So I mean like there have been histories, I mean like in the state of Tamil Nadu there are different parties. So in this article they have talked about that Congress party was initially not in favor of, let's say this particular Amendment Act, because it gives rights to those people who do marriage without following the procedure of Hindu Marriage Act. Okay, so that, I mean like in this article they have mentioned some key terms, and those terms are I mean like they have Suya, Maria, Mathai, Thiru, I mean, like, it is a term, Tamil name that talks about a marriage where, I mean, like, they do not follow these kind of things. They do not have, let's say, gathering of huge number of people. So people do marriage among themselves. Let's say one or two people do marriage among themselves in front of some family members. I mean, like 2, 3 family members, 4 family members are there. In front of them, they do marriage, and like only those people know. So this kind of marriage practice is accepted by the family members in Tamil Nadu. And why? Because of mostly one of the reason is they are doing intercaste or interreligious marriages. Okay, so that's why they do not think of going to public and all. They do marriage among themselves in front of some family members. Okay, so Supreme Court of India has also upheld this type of marriage. But the thing is, like, recently the I mean, Madras High Court has said that this marriage is not valid. Okay, it is not valid because they did not fulfill some of the preconditions of marriage under the Hindu Marriage Act. Okay, so they have said. But like, there have been multiple amendments like this in let's say 1955. I think there was an amendment. 1967 there was an amendment, and most recently in this article they have mentioned that there was an amendment very recently. However, the High Court, let's say, like, the same High Court has earlier also nullified a marriage, and then again it has nullified the marriage citing the same reasons. Okay, and in this article they say that, like, when the Tamil Nadu government has moved this particular amendment act, they said that, like, we want to break the boundary that has been created by Hindu Marriage Act, that talks about that there should be presence of priest and all. So they say that they want to maintain the caste hierarchy in this society. Okay, so they have proposed these ideas. So I'm going to write down the name of the marriage that we are talking about. Okay, this marriage is performed in a manner which is different from the Hindu Marriage Act. Okay, so it is known as Suya Maria. Okay, Suyamari, Suya Maria Thai. Okay, Surya Maria Thai. So this is Surya Maria Thai Thirumanam. Okay, Thirumanam. Okay, so this is the name of the marriage, and this marriage is also known as self-respect marriage. Okay, it is known as self-respect marriage. Although after doing self-respect marriage, people can stay with one another, I mean, like, in their will. But the thing is, like, when there is a dispute between husband and wife related to anything, if they reach a court of law, then the court of law seek the validity, they seek the legality of the marriage under the existing acts, the act that recognizes that marriage. Okay, so the thing is, like, since in Hindu Marriage Act there is no mention of this, so they did not validate this marriage. However, what has happened in the this particular amendment act that they have moved, right? So there was a time where they did not move an amendment act also saying that, like, it will be covered under the Special Marriage Act. There is another act which is known as Special Marriage Act. Okay, Special Marriage Act, and under this Special Marriage Act, what happens? 1954. Under this Special Marriage Act, people of different religion can marry one another. People of one nationality can marry with people of another nationality. For example, an Indian boy wants to marry a girl from some other country, so they have to get their marriage registered under a Special Marriage Act. Okay, if Indian girl wants to marry some other, so this is the thing. Okay, so those marriages that are not valid under Hindu Marriage Act, the Muslim Marriage Act and all, so they can be registered under a Special Marriage Act. So that's the thing. Okay, so in this article they have mentioned about this thing that, like, this Suya Maria Thai. Okay, Surya Maria Thai, this Sirthu, Sirthirutha Thirumanam, okay, which is self-respect marriage in Tamil Nadu, has had to cross hurdles such as judicial and executive interpretations. Okay, so this is related to a social issue. Basically it's a social issue, so it's related to marriage. Okay, self-respect marriage it is known as. Now we have like one question related to something which is different. I mean, like there was another article. So in that article, I mean, that article is not that good. In that article, they have mentioned of NCRB. Okay, NCRB. NCRB means National Crime Records Bureau. And this National Crime Records Bureau is in news once in a while. Why? Because let's say it talks about the number of rape cases, it talks about number of suicides, it talks about number of judicial killings, it talks about number of extrajudicial killings, it talks about the report related to crime in India, right? It includes all the states in India. So this National Crime Records Bureau comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, so this is the thing. So we have a question related to this. It says, with reference to the National Crime Records Bureau, consider the following statements. It was set up in 1986 to function as a repository of information on crime and criminals. This statement is right. The National Crime Records Bureau is a subordinate office of the Ministry of Home Affairs. This is also right. It compiles and publishes crime in India, accidental deaths, suicides, and also prison statistics. This is also right. So all these statements are right. So correct answer would be option C. Okay, option C is the right answer. All correct. Its explanation is given over here. We can go through the explanation in free time. Then we have another topic. It says reform can address India's kidney transplant deficit. Okay, so in this article they have talked about that, like, we need to reform the way in which kidney transplants can be performed in India. So in this article they have talked about different ways of kidney transplant. Okay, from kidney transplant. From kidney transplant, maybe a direct question may be asked in mains. Basically, like, it is related to healthcare, healthcare sector reform measures. Okay, so there can be a broad based question that talks about, let's say, like, what are the areas in which the healthcare sector in India needs a reform. So there, this kidney transplant related thing can be one of the, let's say, point. Then related tuberculosis, there can be points. Related to cardiovascular diseases, there can be point, right? So there can be many such points. So this is, let's say, like, this is a kind of a very specific topic. Direct question may not be here from here, but there can be broad-based questions which can be addressed through this topic. So it says reform can address India's transplant deficit. Okay. Reform can address India's kidney transplant deficit. Kidney transplant deficit. So let's discuss about this topic. Okay, so basically, how does kidney transplant happens? Why kidney transplant is important? Now let us discuss about first what is kidney transplant. Okay, kidney transplant is done when there is a renal failure. I mean, like, it is kidneys associated with the urinary organ of the body, and this urinary organ actually is kidney. I mean, like, it is helpful for filtering the, I mean, like, fluid component in our body. Okay, so this is one of the most important functions that a human body performs. So the thing is, like, whenever a person has these diseases, for example, there is a disease which is known as chronic kidney disease. Okay, it is known as chronic kidney disease. This is one of the disease, CKD, chronic kidney disease. And second is also there, it is known as end stage renal disease. Okay, second is end stage renal disease, ESRD. Okay, if people have these things, chronic kidney disease or end stage renal disease, so in that case they can they can have some other kind of surgical process, but one of the most effective one is kidney transplant. Okay, kidney transplant is most effective because like after kidney transplant, a patient can stay much healthier and he can have a longer lifespan as compared to going for dialysis. Okay, dialysis means he has to carry a bag with him all the time, so that's not, I mean, like, you know, it's not like good for the patient also. I mean, like, for him it is inconvenient, and second thing is, like, you know, it it affects his lifespan also. So that's why, I mean, like, you know, that's why people prefer to have kidney transplant in India. But the thing is, the kidney transplant in India is very difficult. It is difficult because of few reasons. Okay, because of few reasons. In this article they have mentioned 4 reasons. Okay, they have mentioned 4 reasons, and one of the important reason that they have mentioned related to kidney transplant is, let's say, like, you know, the reasons for lack of kidney transplant. Okay, kidney transplant. So one of the reason is, let's say, we have less number of donors. Less number of donors means like people are not willing to donate their kidneys. Why they are not willing to donate their kidneys? Because of n number of reasons. And also there is a regulatory hurdle also in India. In many other countries, there are some countries in the world where they have a legislation in which they have mentioned that a person who dies, if a person dies, then automatically it will be considered that he has consented to donating his organ. If he did not, let's say, explicitly said that I am not willing to donate my organ, so in their law it is there that, like, it will be assumed that that person has given consent. Okay, so by that way the health authorities, the government get access to, let's say, like, you know, those organs from a human body, maybe eye, maybe kidney, those organs that can be transplanted to a patient, I mean, like, you know, who needs those organs. So that is one good policy measure that some of the countries has. In India we do not have that thing, and also in India we do not have any kind of awareness generation program as well. Like, it is very less. But like, so in India, so they have talked about a statistics that in the year of 2022 there were more than 3 lakh people or more than 2 lakh people who needed transplant. Okay, who needed transplant of organ. However, only 3% of the people could get access to the organ, means 97% of the people could not have kidney transplant or other organ transplant because of, one thing is regulatory hurdle, other thing is less number of donors. So what is the regulatory hurdle? So the second aspect that they have mentioned is regulatory hurdle. Regulatory hurdle means the laws that we have in India. So these laws, let's say, do not promote this particular thing well. Okay, so what are the regulatory hurdle? It says that if a person dies, okay, if, let's say, like, you know, because of brain hemorrhage, if a person dies, some of his organs may be good enough to be transplanted to another patient. But the thing is, like, you know, the after a person dies, so there are so many regulations that, like, you know, the doctors have to prove that, like, you know, what was the reason of the death, so many things. I mean, like, you know, during following those procedures, what happens, I mean, like, you know, this transplant thing is missed. Okay, transplant thing is missed because, like, you know, there is more preference given to, let's say, like, you know, identifying the reason of death and what has led to the death, lot of procedures that are there. So that acts as a kind of regulatory hurdle. And here in India we do not allow altruistic kind of like, you know, donation. So in this article they have talked about few methods of organ donation. For example, let's say there is a patient, this patient is there, he needs an organ, let's say he needs a kidney. Okay, he needs a kidney. So who can donate kidney to this person? any relative can donate, okay, any relative can donate, and relative can be spouse, okay. But the thing is, in case of a spouse, in case of organ donation, they need so many things matching with the patient. I mean, like maybe related to the blood, maybe related to type of tissue, okay. So many a case, like, you know, with the spouse or with relatives, this matching thing is not found, okay. So the thing is, if someone else wants to donate, right, to this patient, that becomes difficult, okay. And also there is a concept which is known as kidney swap. What? There is a concept which is known as kidney swap. So what is kidney swap? It means, let's say, like, you know, presence of 4 people. There is a person who is a patient. This is a spouse of the person, okay, spouse, let's say. There is another person who is patient number 2. This is a spouse of the other person, okay, spouse 2. Now, if this person needs an organ and this spouse, I mean, like, you know, is willing to give the organ, but this organ is not accepted by the healthcare facilities, they say it is incompatible. So in that case, this person, the other spouse, let's say, if their thing matches with this person, okay, coincidentally, if this matches with this person and this person's organ matches with this person, so in this case, like, you know, for this patient, this second person can donate, and for this patient, this person can donate. So this is possible, I mean, like, this is known as kidney swap. So this kidney swap method is followed in many countries. In United States of America, in UK, there are many countries where, let's say, like, you know, they have allowed kidney swap to happen. But the thing is, like, it is very rare, okay, it is very rare. Why it is rare? In India, basically, because, like, you know, I mean, the same person, it is very difficult to match this particular thing. And so they have another thing which is known as kidney chain, okay. So this is known as kidney chain. So they have mentioned kidney chains. So this is also important. Yeah. Kidney chains. So what are kidney chains? Basically, again, we have, let's say, this person, right, the patient 1, then we have the spouse of the patient, okay, spouse 1. This patient, I mean, like, you know, he can get a kidney from another person. Let's say this is the person who is willing to donate kidney, okay. This person has donated, okay. Then here, I mean, like, you know, for this person, for the second person, this person is donating, like that. So it creates a kind of chain, and it needs a database also to be maintained. But Indian laws do not allow this kidney chains to happen. Kidney swap is allowed in India, but it should be strictly between the relatives, that relative of this with relative of that, okay. The outside people cannot donate over here. So there is regulatory hurdle. So in this article, they have talked about those countries who follow kidney swap method, kidney chain method, and they say that they have created national repository also of this kidney chain related thing, so that the patient who has donated, right, that patient gets to know that, like, in case of need, who else is going to donate, who else has this particular thing, okay. So in this article, they have said that we need some kind of reform in the laws in India, so that, like, you know, we can match the requirement of kidney transplant needs of the patient, okay. So in this article, they say innovative kidney exchange method face legal roadblocks, worsening a massive kidney shortage in the country, okay. So they have talked about kidney related thing only in this article. However, this article has not been written by any doctor. This article has been written by people from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. 3 people, they all are from IIM Ahmedabad. So this is little, I mean, like, you know, different, I would say. But they have talked about, let's say, methods that are being followed in other countries, okay. So that's the thing. So here we have some states in India, for example, in one of the state, which is Kerala, okay. Kerala allows kidney swap to happen. So in all states except Kerala, it is illegal to donate a kidney out of altruism. Okay, altruism means I'm willingly like, you know, I just want to donate my kidney to someone, you know, self-interestly, like I don't need any money for that purpose. So Kerala allows altruistic donation. No other state in India allows this particular thing. Okay, so that's the thing. Now this article talks about caring for the old. So this is related to Indian society. Why caring for the old? Because recently a kind of report was published. It is known as United Nations Population Fund's India Aging Report. Okay, which organization? United Nations Population Fund. Okay, United Nations Population Fund. I'm just writing UNPF. So United Nations Population Fund has released a report. This is known as India Aging Report. Okay, name of the report is India Aging Report 2023. So this report says that presently whatever number of elderly we have, let's say, like, you know, we have 14.9 crore people who are elderly in India. So the number of elderly is going to double by the year of 2050. Okay, number of elderly is going to double by the year of 2050. And since number of elderly will be doubling, so these people need certain kind of additional, so Indian society needs additional healthcare facilities. For example, they say like it has implications for health, for economy and for society. Okay, so it does have an implication for this. So they say that life expectancy of people is increasing because of better healthcare facilities available, better nutrition facilities like which are available in India. But in this article says that, like, you know, it poses some kind of problems also, because, like, you know, our healthcare infrastructure should match the requirement of the future. How it is going to match the requirement of future? We need more healthcare facilities. This is one thing. Apart from this, we need those facilities that talk about geriatric. Okay, so like there is a term that is used. This is known as geriatric, like, you know, cure. Okay, so this is cure for those people who are elderly. Okay, cure for the elderly people. So that is, like, you know, mentioned in this article itself. So they say, like, you know, that cure should be increased, and they have talked about data of different states also. Okay, so the National Policy on Elderly Person 1999 and the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act 2007 lay down the care of the elderly, but to ensure that the senior citizens live in a dignity, public and private policies must provide a more supportive environment. So this article has been written with reference to this report that has been published by United Nations Population Fund. They have released a report, India Aging Report, and they say this, like, you know, here they have mentioned geriatric care. Geriatric care means care of the elderly people. So elderly people not only need medicines, they need people who interact with them on a regular basis, because they feel connected with those people. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so in this article they have mentioned these things. Okay, so which is an important thing, I would say, right? We need to understand this aspect also. Yeah, so no, they have said that the life expectancy of women is little more than life expectancy of men in case of elderly. So they have talked about that they are going to live by this age, but women are going to outlive by half an year, like that. So generally, I have also seen, I mean, like, I have interacted with many of my friends, known people. So known people means, like, you know, in distant relationship or otherwise. So many of the children, they have lost their father, not mother. I mean, like, you know, बहुत सारे cases में many people जिनके one of the parent has passed away, mostly it has been the case of father. Okay, that has been the case. Okay, so now we have another topic. It says architect of India's green revolution departs. So this is a heartening kind of like, you know, issue. So MS Swaminathan is the father of green revolution in India. So he has passed away yesterday. Okay, so that's why today in the Hindu newspaper, in other newspaper also, many articles came related to MS Swaminathan. Okay, So in this article, they have talked about how Swaminathan as a person lived, like his life story is mentioned, right? What he has founded, how he led to the Green Revolution in India. So that's the thing. Okay, so they have mentioned that there is a MS Swaminathan Research Foundation also. So this research foundation has been set up, right, after his name, right? It is already there. Okay, so this MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, let's say promotes research in agricultural field, and he himself has done research related to rice, and because of him we have like one of the first world's, what we say, high yield variety basmati rice. Okay, so that, and high yield variety rice are genetically modified crop basically. Okay, so in this article they have mentioned about him. Okay, so we will not go into much detail of it. So they say that for the success of Green Revolution program that paved the way for quantum jump in productivity and production of wheat and rice through adoption of chemical biological technology. Okay, so like this is the thing. So there were many pages, so many articles are there. I'm going to discuss little from all topics. So we have included 2 questions related to Green Revolution. So we need to understand what is Green Revolution. Green Revolution means like increasing the productivity of crop and also giving more income for the farmers. Because of Green Revolution, the farmers who were earning less earlier, they started earning more, because they were able to grow more crops in the same field. And also it has addressed the issue of malnutrition in the country. It has addressed the issue of poverty in the country. Yeah, food security in the country. So there are many aspects that have been addressed because of this, but however it does have many concerns also associated with this, because these high yielding variety seeds are little bit costly. Only those farmers could afford to purchase it who had huge amount of money with them, and those people who had big fields, they were able to purchase, let's say, more of these variety of seeds. So it has, let's say, made disparities between those farmers who had money and those farmers who had less money. Okay, so that's the thing. So richer grew more richer and poorer stayed still poorer, like that, because of this. Okay, so these are 2 questions. One of the questions says, how did the Green Revolution impact food security and nutrition in India, and were there any notable socio-economic or cultural consequences of this agricultural transformation? Yes, there were, and we need to answer those while writing an answer to this question. Then we have another question: what were the primary factors that led to the initiation of the Green Revolution in agriculture, and which key individuals play significant roles in its development? So this question you can answer after reading this article. In this article they have mentioned about other people also who have contributed to the Green Revolution, okay, along with MS Swaminathan. So it is possible maybe in next year's UPSC mains exam, they may ask the contribution of Mr. MS Swaminathan in the field of agriculture. It is part of syllabus of GS paper 3, Science and Technology, contribution of Indians in science and technology, like that. Okay, so it is important that today you do as much work on this topic, okay, on this topic as possible, so that possibly you may be able to write an answer on this if a question comes in mains exam. It is highly probable, because he is one of the most notable person. He has done so much good to the Indian economy, right, and Indian society because of his contribution. This person was a scientist, right? He was an agriculture scientist. So this is another article based on MS Swaminathan himself. It says Swaminathan walked ahead of his time, scientific community. So many scientists who have worked with him or under him, they remember him as a person like who had visionary ideas, who wanted to go extra mile, who wanted to, let's say, do something for Indian economy. Okay, although he did his study abroad, but he came back to India and he has joined one institute which is known as, he had joined this, in this article they have mentioned the Central Rice Research Institute in Kuttak. Okay, so when he came back to India after his research, so he has joined Central Rice Research Institute in So after joining over here, he did study in rice, and it led to, let's say, adoption of other methods that are known as methods that led to green revolution. Okay, methods means like usage of fertilizers. Okay, uses of fertilizers, uses of high yielding variety seeds. Okay, and adoption of let's say different irrigation methods. I'm like using, for example, motors for irrigation purposes. So many things he has taught to the Indian people, to the Indian citizens, and that has led to higher yield, higher productivity. So in this article, they have talked about many scientists, many people's name is mentioned in this article. So you can mention their name while writing an answer to the second question. Okay, so there are two questions I have given. Okay, like former Director General of Indian Agricultural Research Institute. Okay, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. Sri Lochan Mahapatra. So he worked, like he was a student of MS Swaminathan. So he has also mentioned about it. And there are many people, let's say, who are associated with MS Swaminathan. And there are many articles where they talked about, presence of Indira Gandhi awarding him. There are many people who have awarded this person related to his contribution to the field of green revolution, okay, agriculture. 1960, during 1960s, 70s, Indira Gandhi, like I have seen photograph of MS Swaminathan with Indira Gandhi. So most likely she was the Prime Minister that time. Most likely, we need to say, 1960s, 65, 67, yeah. Yeah, maybe, but like, maybe the recognition has means recognition is not got immediately, so one has to wait also for it, right? So people later recognize. Today there was an article of Mr. Modi also. Modi, he has lamented the demise of this person. So now this is another topic. It says a dictionary to prevent a language from vanishing. Okay, a dictionary to prevent a language from vanishing. So this topic is important. It's related to art and culture. Why it is important? Because there is an organization which is known as UNESCO. This organization releases an atlas of the languages that are vanishing. Okay, so around, let's say 7,000 languages are there in the world, like many languages, and most of the languages has very few speakers of them, because of which languages are getting endangered. Okay, so it is important to search the name of that atlas and remember its name. And this is, let's say, this is a new I would say dictionary that has been launched. It is known as Toto Shabd Sangraha. Okay, Toto Shabd Sangraha. So this is Toto Shabd Sangraha. So it's a kind of dictionary, and this dictionary is to preserve the language Toto. Okay, name of the language is Toto. So Toto is a Sino-Tibetan language, spoken by Tibetan Toto people, and is written in the Bengali script. Okay, so this language is spoken by Tibetan Toto people. However, they have a script which is Bengali script, and to preserve this language they have created a dictionary. Okay, so this dictionary is helpful. Okay, so this is Mr. Toto titled Dhanu, Totor, this Kathamala was written in Bengali. So there are many books also. Okay, so by the Padma Shri decorated. So there was a person who got Padma Shri also for a book. So in the article they have mentioned about it. Okay, why it is important to protect the language? This is very important. Okay, because once culture is associated with the language they speak. And if we talk about Hindi language is the third most spoken language in the world. Means after, let's say, we have English and English, I think Chinese maybe. Okay, third most spoken language is Hindi. But the thing is, in the world we are thinking that Hindi is not spoken by people. Yeah, backward language. No, but the thing is so there are many languages, and these languages are vanishing because there are very less number of speakers of those people, because people migrate from their native places. After they go to other places, they adopt language over there, they start speaking language of that location where they migrate. and then soon after their, let's say, children, their grandchildren, they forget what language their fathers, forefathers used to speak. So this is the thing. Okay, and this is another article. This article is also important. It says inside the digital world of cookies. Okay, inside the digital world of cookies. So are there privacy concerns? Can inadequate security of cookies pose a risk to users? Which privacy regulations had an impact on how they are used on websites? How does India's Digital Personal Data Protection Act affect the cookies? What potential downside can their excessive use have? Okay, so these are related to cookies. Cookies are associated with website. If you visit any website, so it generally initially asks if this website uses cookies, do you accept or not? So if you click on allow or accept, so it's going to use cookies, so that, like, after you if you visit next time that website, so it, let's say, like, you are able to move through that website at a rapid pace, because it stores some of your information in the website. However, in the European Union, they came up with a regulation which is known as General Data Protection Regulation, okay, GDPR. So these GDPR rules, okay, of European Union says that every technical companies, like, whatever information they need from user, they need to explicitly declare to the users that for what purpose they need that information, and they should try to take the minimum possible information from the users to provide some services to them, like whichever is most important data that they need, only they should ask for those information. Okay, and also whenever the authority demands, they have to provide those information to the authorities, and they have to erase the data also. So there is a kind of, let's say, right to be forgotten in the European Union, where an individual, let's say, like, who feels that his data is there in Facebook, who feels that his data is there over here, so he can request these companies to erase his data from their website. That is known as right to be forgotten. Okay, however, in India we do not have something which is known as right to be forgotten, but the Digital Personal Data Protection Act that they have come up with, this act provides some rights to the users, that, like, they can approach the organizations for deletion of their data. That is the case. And also it talks about that many organizations, let's say, like, if in case of breach of data, they have to note, they have to notify the users that there was a data breach. Okay, so these are some of the things that are associated with cookies. Okay, some of the things associated with cookies. So in this article, they have discussed about what is cookies. First of all, cookies are associated with the websites, or whenever you search anything on the internet. Okay, so that website has the potential of storing your let's say, like, digital information over there. So it says cookies can track online behavior, leading to privacy concerns about digital privacy. Inadequate security of cookies can create opportunities for cyber criminals to steal personal information. Okay, so this is the thing. Then they mentioned Digital Personal Data Protection Act in India mandates explicit consent for collecting or processing personal data via cookies. Okay, so this Digital Personal Data Protection Act also says that, like, you should do it. This is already in practice in like UK, and also those businesses who are not in UK, but if they provide services to the citizens of United Kingdom, in that case also, like, they should comply with the GDPR regulations of UK. Okay, so the updated law emphasizes the need for transparent and well-informed consent. Then third-party cookies have sparked debates, resulting in web browsers limiting their users to protect user privacy. The excessive use of cookies can slow down web browsers, affecting user experience. Okay, then cookies enhance online experience but pose privacy and security challenges. Okay, so these are the things that they have mentioned. In your free time, you can read this article, okay, to understand little more on cookies. Cookies are an important part. Okay, so although, like, it seems to be very generic topic, but the thing is, like, it is very important. Okay, okay, so yes, so they have mentioned what are the uses of cookies, what are the types of cookies. Session cookies are temporary cookies like post-it notes for website. Then persistent cookies are digital equivalent of bookmarks. Okay, they stay on the device after the browsing session ends. Okay, so they have mentioned about these things. Then we have third party cookies also. We have secure cookies are only sent over encrypted connections, making them safer for prying eyes. Then third party cookies are similar. They come from a domain other than the one you are visiting. Okay, so there are different types of cookies that they have mentioned. One of the is like, this is temporary cookies, persistent cookies, secure cookies, and third party cookies. Okay, so these are the things. So thank you so much for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.